So, dear students, you all will get time at the end of this session to ask your questions and all. Till then, your mic and chat box will be restricted. Hope you all will cooperate. So, once again, hello, hello, and a very, very good afternoon, everyone, to all the dignitaries, teachers, and charges, students, and my special guests. I am really, really very happy to be the part of this webinar. We all have been waiting for it from so long. But before the session begins, I would like to introduce Mr. Harshit Singh, Director International Planning Affair, who is the initiator of this webinar. He is an alumni of Lucknow Public College and a law graduate. Being the alumni of LPS, he is very well acquainted with the circumstances prevailing in the field of education and is thereby aware of every nerve of the education sector that needs to be touched to infuse blood of success in each LPian. As director, he has been contributing vividly in the development of the organization through his meticulous planning and execution of affairs. One such initiative is this webinar, wherein he has provided us with an opportunity to interact with an eminent career talk specialist who would be give an insight to all the career opportunities one can opt for. Well, we'll begin with this session in a short while, but before that, I would request Mr. Harshit Singh, Director International Planning Affairs, to share his views with us on the same. Sir?
Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, my name is Harshit, and I believe it's my first interaction with most of you. Well, as you know, this is a new beginning for all of us. This series, the LPS Career Talk series, this is something that a new venture that we just planned of working on, and which would actually help you and help us also explore a few more dimensions about how we should be planning and we should be actually moving towards our destination and in life. So, first of all, I'd like to welcome you all on behalf of Lucknow Public Schools and Colleges. And most of all, I'd like to welcome Miss Heather Wallick, uh, who is a very, a very renowned personality, and also she's been working in so many fields, in the fields of education, so many areas, and also she's been a great teacher for me as well. So without taking much time, I'll just share some of my ideas as to how I perceive and I plan to move about and go forward in life. And if at all that suits you all, you can also plan on the same thing. Well, I'll just use a pen and a paper. I don't know whether how much will it be visible, but I'll just show you something. And that is, you see, that's us. That's a dot I've made over here. And that's us over here. Or maybe I'll call myself, that's me over here. And that's my destination. If I'll just put another dot up here. So that's me down here and my destination up here. That is where I want to be in life. So the best way and the best strategy could be a straight, if I want to reach there, I'll try. The best thing would be, the shortest way would be, just going all the way straight up here. You see, a straight line which will directly connect you to your destination in life, right? So, but you know how life is. You don't really go straight. You'll first go this. Life will take you here. Then it'll take you here. Then again it'll take you here. It'll again bring you down. Again it'll take you here. And then maybe it'll take you closer, somewhere closer to your destination. So if I talk about your destination or my destination, the one and the only thing that will keep us, on the right path or on the right track, or to keep a right focus. That is this destination, your destination where you want to be in life. This focus will actually, how it will help you. You'll still deviate. What will happen is that you'll start from here down here. The focus will still take you haywire, but not that much. Not to those core areas, those that downtrodden strengths, but it'll still keep you there, somewhere near your path. So you won't deviate much. And the time it will take for you to reach your destination will be less. So yes, to actually become successful and to reach your destination, just try to keep a few things in mind. And that is, have an ambition, develop discipline, exercise patience, stick to a strategy, and be ready to tolerate uncertainties. So these are a few things that I have, I try to practice and I try to inculcate in my, daily routines and my focus towards where I want to be. So I know that during this time, a lot of us have experienced so many things, and we know how the things have changed in the entire world. So yes, that's how I'd like to share and begin this new venture of Lucknow Public Schools and Colleges, that is the LPS Career Talk series. And whatever we will discuss here with you, and we'll try to enlighten you in this talk today with Miss Heather Wallick. And just try to, as you must have heard this thing, that knowing is not enough, we must apply, and willing is not enough, we must do. So just remember a few things, do understand whatever you're coming across and try to apply those things in your life. Then only can you achieve, or it will be easier for you to reach your destination in a shorter span of time. So yeah, thank you so much. And I hope you will have a nice session with Miss Heather today and learn a lot more. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. That was really amazing to hear you out, and I'm sure students might have learned something. Thank you so much again for sharing your ideas, your plans. It was really, really amazing to hear you out. So, without taking much time, I would like to say that the woman who is going to have words with all of us is not a simple woman. She is a superwoman, an amazing visionary. When I say amazing, again, I would say that I mean it. What's special about her is that she loves helping young adults just like you kids to build stairs for you and for your career. So, everybody, let's welcome our guest speaker, Miss Heather Wallick. She will discuss her expert opinion on career and other steps related to it. But before that, I would like to tell you all about her. So, Heather Wallick is the founder of Wallick Global Consulting Private Limited, an education coaching and counseling company in Noida, UP. Miss Wallick holds a JD degree from New England School of Law and a PA in international relations from Boston University. She is passionate about education and educational development and has given a number of talks at Indian universities and schools regarding preparation for UG PG study outside of India. Ms. Wallick has been screening applications for international students as well for over 15 years. And again, I would say without taking much time, now, dear little guests, our eminent guests, all of you, you can clap virtually for our guest speaker, Heather Wallick. Miss Wallick, you can start the session now.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes?
Oh, hello, everybody. How are you today? This fine day in North India where it's sufficiently cold, as you might say. Welcome to the first in what I know Harshitji has designed as a series of talks about career building and career planning. My name is Heather Wallick, and as Anama Friedman announced, I've done a number of things in my own career, anywhere from being a lawyer to being a senior administrator at Harvard Law School, to owning my own coaching and consulting company where I am now. But I have also done bookkeeping. I have also sold eyewear. I have also, when I was young, waited tables. You don't do very much of that here in India, but we used to have part-time jobs. And so job versus career is a little bit about what we'll talk about. Careers and career planning are useful to anyone of any age. And I know we have some eminent guests who are not in high school with us. This means you too. Lifetime learning has taken off in the world. And so I encourage you to understand that these points and tips are not just directed as our illustrious high schoolers who have taken time out of their Sunday to be with us, but they're really universally applicable if anyone is deciding to do career building, career planning, or career shifting, what I call a career realignment. I'm going to focus my talk today on early preparation for advanced studies outside of India. I'll then interject a few points about kind of the slight differences between US advanced education or international education versus domestic education. That's not meant to criticize, but just meant to highlight a few subtle differences as parents and students are doing career planning for themselves. Followed by, I'm going to try to conclude by 1:30 dot. So I'm going to speed through the slides I'm going to upload. And then finally leave a half hour. We have an unprecedented number of attendees. So again, before I start again, I'd like to extend my warm thanks to Harshit Singh Ji, Anama Freen, the illustrious staff, students, teachers, honored guests of Lucknow Public School, preparing for undergraduate study, early preparation. Ladies and gentlemen, early. Early means not waiting until 12th boards come out before you decide to plan your life. That's not the way it works for undergraduate study abroad. My name is, sorry about this, I'm having a little bit of technical difficulty. That's who I am. This is my company. So I just want to tell you briefly about why I chose to come to India and why this company is so important to me. I came to India in 2016 because after having adjudicated thousands of inbound Indian applications from Indian students, I thought that there was some information gaps and some knowledge. All right, here we go. Many top tier universities are confronting this COVID problem. I wanted to start a little bit with the impact of COVID, just because it's on everybody's mind these days. I don't want to start to have any, this is not me, and I am unable to disable it. I got it. It's done now. All right, let's reset this. Sometimes technical difficulties happen. I'm very sorry about that. I've disabled annotation. So I think you can go ahead and touch the screen all you want now. Many top tier universities are having issues due to COVID, right? And just like you're all studying at home, universities around the world are having their programs remotely. Therefore, I fundamentally think that this might continue. Yale, however, has indicated that there is that they're going to have enough spaces for students. There was a big concern about the number of deferrals. I don't see any changes in that respect. Apologies that this is. Colleges and universities in 2020 adopted a wait and see approach, and certain universities didn't permit deferrals. So in the upcoming year and in the year that follows, any class 12s here who've applied, I think you're all going to be on campus next year. That's important. For parents, tuition didn't change. Many universities are currently doing everything that they can to make this process easier. On-campus learning is predicted and hoped for, given that thankfully they have started to roll out the vaccine and hopefully cases will reduce. I expect universities to innovate. I also expect them to really go out and take a hard look at students and otherwise, and be available to students that are expecting to find help. So what do we do at Wallick Global Consulting as career builders and career planners? A career builder and a career planner works with their clients to determine their career pathing. Harshit drew you a picture, right? And he originally said, you know, you can go from point A to point B and you want to go there via the straightest line possible. I'll paraphrase a little bit. He said, but normally we go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And I too, before I found this career, did several things. So as career builders, and especially with reference to students' international education needs, we do thorough application review and coaching. We assist with financial aid and scholarship applications. We work with people of multiple ages. So again, any parents in the audience, we do anything from 8th grade summer all the way up to 60, if you would like to have a second career after retirement, as some people do. So if that's what we do, in addition to general career planning and intake, what don't we do? What we don't do is we don't place students. So there is a difference between an agent and a coach or a counselor. And India has many, many, many agents and few, maybe a handful of coaches and counselors. And of those, I believe that I might be, although I'm not sure, the only one who is actually adjudicated intake students who have applied to an Ivy League school, and also who has also actually issued financial aid and scholarship awards. So I'm a little bit new to the market, and my style of coaching is definitely new. So as we're focusing this step one of career building, because in my opinion, step one of career building is the best education possible, the best education. And that education may be inside India or outside India, as the case may be. So we're going to talk about what factors affect admission to universities outside of India. They are your grades, examination scores, plus semester marks, and your rank against your peers. Schools generally, and Lucknow Public School does not generally rank students such that the student knows their rank. There are some negative aspects of that, but rather than marks, most colleges and universities look at the relative rank of the student against his or her peers. Letters of reference, generally from your English and math teachers. So students, Start doing your English and math work now and do it well. There's some deviation from that. This is the general recommendation in all cases on a case-by-case basis that is based on the program to which you would be applying. We may change that recommendation such that if it's a humanities program, it might be English and art or English and classics, English and poli-sci. For a history major, international relations major. For an engineering major, it might be math and physics. It might be maths and chemistry. Fundamentally, for the most part, Lucknow Public School is a CBSE school. So the most important thing that you would be doing is, continuing to work in a very, very rigorous way toward your examination outcomes, right? Your CBSE 10th and 12th. School rigor. Rigor means how difficult the school is and its rank. Also are a half a point of a factor. So the more programming the school does, the more exposure it gives its students, the more that it's CEEB in the USA recognized. And there are many different certifications that the school can get that will give the student extra points. And we are talking about that and what that might entail. Extracurriculars, co-curriculars. One of the things that happens in India, you've all heard it, and it usually gets a laugh in my talks because Indian students and mostly Indian parents have a thing like extracurricular-itis. It's a disease brought on by exam need to do-is, right? Students need to do exams, they need to study. It is a high volume of information. The challenge is you have to balance that exam preparation time with doing enough extracurricular and co-curricular activities to be attractive to an international admissions board. In India, you tend to have examination entry. In the US, it's examination plus background, right? We can address that during Q&A, that it sometimes is some of the most difficult concepts for students to understand. So when you file an application, you're required to write an essay, and those essays and the short answer questions expressing yourself in English can count for up to 35 to 50% of the points that the student will receive towards their admissibility factor. Test scores, SATs, advanced placement examinations, SAT subject tests, TOEFL, IELTS, these are also required and do affect your admission. Any extras, parents, that you can give or support your children in doing, internships, semester abroad, leadership, sports, debate, those are kind of outside, those are the extracurricular outside of school, co-curricular inside of school. These are the general factors. I'm going to go back and leave that up there for a minute. These are the general basic factors that affect admission to colleges and universities outside of India. Let me restate that. These are the general factors which affect admission to colleges and universities outside of India. One of the things that I find is that all students start to prepare too late. The recommended preparation time is approximately 3 years. That would have you beginning preparation in class 9 and doing some things, class 10, doing some other things and taking your first set of boards. And then really understanding that the marks and the grades that international universities look for are from class 11. Let me say that again, class 11 grades and outcomes and learning outcomes are extremely important, okay? moving on. So there are a few myths about studying specifically in the US. There's a cost factor, right? I don't think that there is enough of a realization that universities do give merit scholarships. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's full, but rather it's important to avail early deadlines. There's someone who's not muted. If you could kindly mute your microphone, thank you. Courses, you can study wherever, whatever, whenever you want, provided you can meet the entry requirements. That means that students from 18 years of age all the way up to 80 years of age may go to study at an American university. There is no age cutoff. Early admissions, we've heard about those super students who go early. I feel like you should finish a normal high school and then move on to college study, but that's just me. Brand, the brand is the best, so I'll get the best education there. That's not exactly true. No one can argue that the elite brands, the Ivies, the little Ivies, the high techs, will give you a good education. You really have to look and see where the best university is for the subject matter. For example, no one can argue that Stanford is an all-around great university. However, there are, perhaps if you really want to do aerospace engineering, you'll be looking at places like UIUC or Purdue or Washington, because they have more research currently. These are still top 50 universities. My company strives to put our clients into top 100 universities globally. But we are not brandists. Parents and students may be brandists. I think that that's a narrow focus. You have to really look and see what is the best university for your intended major. And there are resources online available for that. And then we would help you with that as well. Exams, right? If I miss my mark on my SAT, I won't get in. That's one of the biggest myths I've heard. Ma'am, I only have 1390. I'm not going anywhere. There was a recent report for a 1390 SAT candidate who went off to Cornell, I believe, and that is with a lot of support and understanding. So you have to take your SATs, 1500 or better if you're pitching for an Ivy. It can be very, very challenging. However, SAT is not the only thing. It is this whole child that we look at, and there are a lot of indicators for success beyond the examinations. More universities than ever after this year, a la COVID, including California, are going test optional or will not even be looking at SATs beginning next year. We use SATs as indicators of a wide grouping of colleges and universities who are very keen on recruiting students from India. So those are some of the myths. So in order of screening, I screened a lot of applicants, not undergraduate, but graduate students for law. And the screening process, i.e. the review for the intake of students, is pretty much the same. So in order of importance, the schools require a student to have a mature and well thought out application and a reason for applying to their school specifically. It is not enough to say that it's the very best school in their field. You have to know programs. You have to spend some time attending webinars. You have to spend some time getting to know the university that you want to attend. And I'll caution the parents in the office, that is the student as well as the parent. Okay, that is the student as well as a parent. Parents, you're preparing students to go abroad and live independently. If they can't do an application process themselves, what learning outcome are they going to have when you let them go to their campuses, right? So help them, but don't do the work for them. A student needs to demonstrate intellectual curiosity, diverse extracurricular activities, sports, community service, and a wide range of interests. Goes without saying that they need to have high academic achievement scores, attention to detail. So as soon as it becomes clear that the student or the parent wants the student to pursue undergraduate education, contact somebody to help you. That can be your school's international application coordinator. Some schools have them, and we'll be working to have one. Or the designated person at the school who will help you with undergraduate education needs. The second is parents, firms like mine, placement firms, cast a wide net. Usually I find that is as you enter class 9. The reason for that is it could change over time. Your intentions, parents and students, can change over time, but after class 10, if you are planning to stay in India, then the method of your education and your priorities will be different than if you are preparing to study outside of India. They will diverge after class 10th. What you do in class 11, again, will be very significant and just as significant as you're preparing for your board exams if you go abroad. Most students will wait until application season. It's too late. Most undergraduates will wait until after 12th boards. That is too late. So rising grade 10, these are people in 9th and 10th grade right now, or 9th, I believe you call it 9th and 10th class here. Start looking on the web for possible schools to approach, read daily extracurricular activities, sports, Olympiads, and the like. Grade 11, all important year for you. End of year exams. You need to think about taking AP exams. I've come to know that if you're thinking of going abroad and you have not registered for AP exams yet, and you still want to do it, that there is still an opportunity to do it in February. So contact your local AP exam coordinator. This year's grades, that means your mid-years and your finals are extremely important, along with your first set of grades a la your pre-boards or half yearlies. They are going to be extremely important. This year, also know that the board exams or the end exams for class 10 and class 12 are slightly off cycle. So as of right now, they're in the beginning of May, which is going to make it even more difficult if you're in class 12 and you're thinking of going abroad. It's going to make it more difficult if you have not yet lodged applications. So you can get in touch with us if you need some advice. Rising class 12, you're about to go into grade 12. You have 2 objectives, applications and your exams. And if you can manage to do it while doing a little community service, etc., more's the better. How do you get through all of this? You have to make a timeline, follow your timetable, set achievable goals for both studying and extracurricular activity. It is a lot of material to get through for class 12 boards. I realize that. Your tuitions and your schooling are very, very important. But if you are preparing to go outside of India, then it is also very important that you continue to do your service. You continue to do at least one extracurricular to the extent you can while you are on lockdown. Okay. So it is early. It is much earlier than people think. Profile building, therefore, we do this thing in career planning called profile building. It's basically working with a coach, mentor, faculty member or teacher, in your case of high school, to extract the root of your goals. Why do you want to go to that particular school? What do you want to do for a job? How does your job and your college selection, your university selection, how do they track? And then you create a plan. You create a plan with a focus on academic achievement, i.e. your boards, and your extracurriculars, and your service to the school, and your service to the community. So it is a lot. Going abroad and living independently is a huge responsibility. And so I expect our clients to demonstrate that while they are still in India. And we work with students and parents on a daily basis who are planning for this to happen. And so you can check out what we've been doing on our website. So you structure your profile by saying, okay, what have we already done? You're going to map a plan for your future, and there's a little bit of a cutoff. You have to choose, right? India or not India by class 10. Once you choose India or not India, that's your basic choice. Then you can make a corresponding map. Domestically, you have plenty of coaching and counseling opportunities for good colleges and universities. There is a structure here that you know. But if you, again, determine as a family that you're going abroad, you have to really start working on structuring your profile. 9th is optimal, 10th is okay, 11th, you're getting a little late. But we can help students and parents in every stage of their planning. You have to start to be selective and strategic by about class 10. You really need to know, if asking yourself, especially if you're going abroad, is what I'm doing getting me to that next dot on my career path? In other words, is what I'm doing relevant to me, to my life, or to my future? And if not, right about class 11 is when you take the decision on sports or no sports. It usually, with our clients, comes down to that. If a student is interested in a sports career, that's great. They are usually leaving academics behind and doing the training and the rigorous training to do that. But that's a good example of some of the choices that need to be made by class 11, whether sports will be club sports or really looking for sports as a career. So that's the most bright line example that I can give you. And the dots came out a little bit out of order, but this focus on whether you're, let me go back for a minute, focus on whether your profile is aligned with the school of your choice. Certain colleges and universities look for certain students, look for students to have done certain things. An example of this might be Georgetown University. Georgetown University requires, except this year, students to have 3 subject tests prior to application. Requires, strongly encourages, gives you preference if you have them, might look a little less on you if you don't. So if you're planning and you're in class 10th and 11th and Georgetown is on your list, understand that you're going to have to work 3 subject tests into your plan. And so that is clearly what we talk about in terms of profile building. If you tell me you want to be also a foreign language major, and this is kind of a little bit far-fetched for India, but if you haven't taken a foreign language and you want to apply to a school as a foreign language major, you probably won't have the preparedness that you need for that career choice. So what we do is we help you create a plan, create that roadmap, and then work with students and parents and schools to help their students implement that roadmap. Okay. I think I only have a few more slides. So here's what you have to do. You have to ask for help, kids. If you're thinking about it, have the discussion with your parents in 9th and 10th. If you're mature enough to have the discussion, you're mature enough to do the research, to reach out for help, to understand what is being asked of you. So ask for help. Everybody's willing to give an opinion. If you really, really want to do it, as my mother told me, you need to come to me with a plan. You need to tailor your search process to your subject matter and not the school brand. You need to have a lot of extracurricular activities which demonstrate knowledge of subject, community awareness, and most of all, maturity. There's no replacement for stellar academics. You still need those board exam scores in the 90s or better. You still, in many cases, need those APs at 4 or 5. You still need, in many cases, SATs at 1500 or above to go into the top tier. However, there is a university for everyone. America has about 200 colleges and universities scattered across the continental and not continental United States, which deliver services at a very, very high quality. There is a cost and it is a substantial investment, students, so trust that you should be working hard and towards your goals on a daily basis. Don't do this. Don't go to your teachers 2 days before they're due and ask them for letters of reference. It's both impolite and they might be writing that letter with a little bit more of a negative outlook on you than you want. Applications open in August. In July, and to understand, class 12th, you're back in school. Class 11th now who are moving to class 12th and you want to go abroad, keep this in mind. Okay. You should also be working with your teachers, not missing classes and doing your work. Teachers have a very, very tough job, especially in COVID. And so, you know, at this point, class 11, class 10, you will be wanting their stellar recommendation. So please support your teachers. Second group is counselors and academic officials, because they will be getting your documents together. So now is the time to respect your teachers and school officials, as you should be respecting them on a daily basis. It is a very, very difficult job. You shouldn't take on more than what you can do well. You don't need 30 incidents of an extracurricular with one engagement. You need 2 or 3 things that you really like to do that you have a long-term engagement doing. Examples: practicing music since class 9 or forming a band in class 11, doing sports from 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. It proves that you can stick to something. And there will be many more options. Don't wait to make a plan until 2 or 3 months before the deadline. Everyone can start now with their planning. Okay, the plan is the most important to get closer and closer to that straight line methodology that Harshitji has mentioned in the beginning of this talk. A few more. Diversity gets a little bit of a challenging discussion because India is very diverse. And so what do we mean when we say universities want to create a diverse class or a diverse cohort? It basically means we can't have 200 electrical engineers on our campus. It would make it a very one-dimensional experience. So what admissions offices try to do is take, you know, some electrical engineers and some aerospace engineers and some foreign language majors and some arts majors and some biology majors and try to mix it up on campus from different states, from different Socioeconomic backgrounds, that is diversity. There is a thought that this will build cultural competency and it will build community. And University of Wisconsin-Madison and Penn State are two that I've mentioned. They don't pay me, they don't give me anything to mention them, but I saw articles where they're really, really trying to raise awareness about how good a diverse campus is. So that's the note on diversity. The admissions essay is going to be the most difficult and challenging. Students and teachers, I encourage you to engage students with essay writing in general and reflective essay writing, because it can be very, very important to them, especially if you know that they are going to be going abroad. As a criteria for working with me, every person that I choose to work with generally is asked for a 400 to 600 word reflection on why they want to work with me and why they want to go abroad. And it's really important to gauge your objectives. The admissions essay is a little bit different. It gives you a chance to tell the admissions committee things about you that we cannot get from your grades and your marks. Okay, it can count for up to 50% of the application. And it's a great place to say what your test scores and grades can't say, right? What you want to do. And most importantly, what career you want to have and why that career. The why becomes very, very important. Don't waste your words. An admissions officer already knows their school, so don't tell them what they already know. They don't want to hear how their university can change their life. We already know that. They don't want to hear that the sole reason for graduate study, which means graduation in this case for you, is that a parent, teacher, or friend is an alumnus. You want the admissions office to remember you, but give them something they won't forget, but make it truthful. Don't embellish. You find that you are a very, very unique person and that we want to know about your uniqueness. So there you go. That's my stint on the admissions essay. I think that this admissions essay and the amount of writing that undergraduate students have to do for UCAS, which is for the UK schools, for the Canadian schools, for the US schools, for generally the English-speaking countries of the world, is something unique to the Indian system that focuses more on examinations. So it can be somewhat scary. I try to coach students to just do it. Spend a little bit of time thinking about why you're doing something each day. So a few final tips before we go to questions. I'm sorry if I've run over by quite a lot. I didn't realize how much I have. Proofread the application, prepare your drafts early. The essays don't change. Make sure to follow the university's application instructions. Have a friend, teacher, coach check the English and the entire application. All of these are if you're making that application to go abroad. Make sure that every question's answered, filed by the deadlines. Deadlines are India Standard Time, not US time for undergraduates. Graduate school, a little bit different. Spend the most time writing and revising the essays and making your profile. We have had some really good placements. So through this program that we've designed and through working with students, individual high school students, these are our high school placements. And there's many more on our website. These are just a few of some of the really big box brands. Sloan's story is still in there. Sloan is actually a graduate school. But there you go. These are some of the universities that we've gotten. We just had 2 students admitted early this year to Purdue, so we're pretty happy about that. That's a pretty good get for engineering. Full list can be found on our website, which is wallickglobalconsulting.com. There's our email. You can call us. I want to thank everyone for being here today. I'm very happy. I don't know how long we have this, but I'm very happy to answer any and all questions from the entire audience. So thank you for having me. And so I don't know if I have to turn this back over to you, Anna, ma'am. I don't exactly know how to do that.
Okay, it's done. It's done.
Okay, great.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wallick.
Sure.
And students, now you can ask questions if you have any through the chat box.
A lot of thank yous coming over. Thanks so much for that. Ma'am, can we apply from this month only? This is from Ms. Von Schika. Yes, there are universities that are left. You can certainly apply. Some of the universities may be closed. Deadlines have passed. Ma'am discussed about maths, up to what level is required. Depends on what you want to do. This is a question from Harsh. Harsh, it depends on what you want to do for your career. So that's a little bit different. Ma'am, which exam do we have to seek admission in world's best law universities? Well, let's talk about law careers, ladies and gentlemen. The exam you have to do is CLAT, C-L-A-T. And guess what that is? That's your exam for India's national law schools, from where Harvard recruits more than 20 admitted students every year. So law is a subject matter that is taught as post-graduation almost in the US. It's taught as graduation in the UK, India, and other places. But I personally believe, and this is from adjudicating at Harvard Law School, that the Indian law system, if you really want to go for law, study for CLAT concurrently with studying for your 12th boards, and try to go to Bangalore, Hyderabad, West Bengal, Delhi. Some of the greatest law schools are in India, and they will prepare you, and then take your master's outside. Okay, so that is the question about law. Let's see what else we have. I don't think I asked Harsh Verma's question. Ma'am discussed about maths, up to what level is required. Class 12 maths usually covers most of calculus. And so I really feel that students have enough maths vis-a-vis the Indian system to take the SAT in class 10 or class 11. Maybe not the SAT subject test. You'll need a little bit of extra tuition for that, but maths right up through class 12. If you think you're going to do engineering or science. If you are also going to do commerce, that is, go for a career in business, it may be important to do commerce plus maths. So math is really important. Okay, let's see what other questions. Ma'am, which exam do we, I already did. Which exam do we have to give to seek admission in the world's best law universities? Again, there's actually 3 or 4 exams locally. CLAT for your national law exams. LSAT, Indian LSAT for some private law schools, or your local, if you're in Delhi or in UP, and you want to go to your local law schools. In Lucknow, that's Ram Manohar is the local law school, which is also very good, has also sent students to Harvard and Oxford, is also the CLAT. All right. What are the best places to study for a company secretary course? I do not know. Company secretaries are unique to India. The work of company secretaries in India is very, very important and intrinsic. That work in the United States is performed by a lawyer. And so company secretaries are very, very unique to India. I think that that is a decision best discussed with a company secretary. And so Muskan Singh, you can email me. I have a couple of company secretaries I could ask. So if you send me an email at Wallick Global Consulting, I will try to get you an answer for that. From Shivy, ma'am, what according to you shall be our first step after 12th? I'm being advised that I should also give you info @wallickglobalconsulting.com for an email address. I'm going to type it in the chat box at the end. So that's info@wallickglobalconsulting.com. From Shivy, ma'am, what according to you shall be our first step after 12th? Shivy, I'm going to ask you to reframe your question because you can make a lot of steps after 12th. It should be university. I don't exactly know, depending on what you would like to study. There should be no bifurcation or linear thinking. Linear thinking is first I'm going to do class 9th, then I'm going to do class 10th, then I'm going to do class 11th, then I'm going to do class 12th, and then I'm going to think about my career. Right? What I propose is that while you're in 9th and 10th and 11th and 12th, you're also thinking about the fact that all of this work is laying the foundation of a career of some type. So Shivy, I'll take another refinement on that question if you can think about it. What exactly do you mean by that? Ma'am, can an ordinary student also get into an Ivy League college? This is from Abhiganjan. I'm an ordinary person. I think most of the Ivy Leaguers are ordinary. I don't know what you mean by ordinary. All students are special, Abhi. So I would say yes, if you work hard. If you mean ordinary by being a 90 marker, I think ordinary students can accomplish extraordinary things. So if you're an ordinary student who accomplishes extraordinary things, then you can do that. From Raghvendra Prata, do you know the good schools in India? I think I do. I've heard about this place called IIT. I've heard about NITs. I've heard about BITS Pilani. I've heard about national law schools. I've heard about AIMS for medicine. I know good schools in India. So I don't know if Raghvendra, you were just trying to test me. Did you want to know what I knew for a particular reason? Did you want me to make a recommendation? Oh, government schools, ILS, Pune, Delhi University, Ram Manohar, APJ. So that's important. Ma'am, the SAT exam is compulsory. Vanshika, are you asking, is the SAT exam compulsory? The answer is yes, in most places. Now they're saying it's optional. My firm still believes it's compulsory. So Vanshika, still, I believe that that is compulsory. But if you go to various university websites, you will see whether that university will receive SAT scores or not. Okay, this is from Shiv. I'm in class 11. I want to do BJMC, but my parents are not agree. How do I convince them? First, you have to convince me by telling me what BJMC is. But my parents don't agree. I don't exactly know all of the alphabet soup. So Shiv, I'm going to look for you to explain down after this what BJMC is. I'll try to attend to it. Ayaz, you're welcome. Aditi, I don't have any query. I really enjoyed this session. Thank you, Aditi. Hirsch Varma. From where can we apply for AP exams, TOEFL, and SAT? I am not in the habit of telling my clients what to do, Harsh. From where we can apply for AP exams, TOEFL, and SAT, you can do the research on the websites. SAT is through a place called College Board. TOEFL is through ETS. And AP exams, you need to contact your local AP exam coordinator. I believe, though I am not 100% sure, your teachers will know who the AP exam coordinator is in Lucknow. There are also AP exams. There are also AP exams locally. Harsh, you can give us an email at info@wallickglobalconsulting.com with further information on the how. So from Mancha Khan, which university is good for medical students? I encourage all Indian students to try for MBBS in India first, because the program will get you to being a doctor faster. In the US, at least, you are required to take another degree first, perhaps bio or chemistry, and then move on to medical school. So I encourage students who are doing medicine to stay local. Ma'am, BCA I can do from abroad. If you mean Vanshika, bachelor's in computer applications. So what I'm gonna ask now is, don't assume that ma'am knows all of the abbreviations. If you're gonna write out a question, you have to write it out in long form. Vanshika, if that is bachelor's in computer applications, you can do it. It's called something different. It might be bachelor's in system engineering. It might be bachelor's in data science. It might be bachelor's in coding or bachelor's in computer science. If that is not what BCA means, I apologize. Parth, ma'am, do any scholarship is provided by the university? Ma'am, is any scholarship provided by the university? Universities I've seen provide anywhere from 10 to 40 to 50% in the US, sometimes less so in the UK, but the costs are less expensive. In Canada, I've had 2 clients win exorbitant scholarships. One has won a $1 lakh Canadian dollar scholarship by working very hard and getting 95% or better to the University of Toronto. So it's possible. So Parth, yes, some scholarships are provided. They are provided to students who do the hard work of getting 95 plus on their board exams and doing all the things that they say. Ashutosh, ma'am, I want to ask that how to know your tough points and your loose points. That is a local determination. I don't know what anyone's tough points or loose points are. So you'll need to revise the question for someone who has only lived in India for 3 years. Ma'am, how can I apply for MIT? Veer Singh, study hard, make sure your PCM is 95 plus, make sure you're doing research, make sure you are doing experimental applications, have a plan. And if you are in class 9 Veer, more's the better. Get a coach, start doing outside science projects, start reaching out to MIT and seeing what they need. Spend some time on MIT's website and dream, man. Harshdeep, ma'am, what shall be my first step after my 12th if I want to study in India? So your local school counselors are more experts at Indian pathways than ma'am is, than I am. So first step can be, I would say, try to figure out your local exams and your university entrance exams that you need to take. It's very important. Ma'am, how one should choose a career, right? So we're here to talk about career planning. And I think that the way one should choose a career is first, decide what you like to do. Second, decide what you're good at. Third, and most importantly, decide what you never want to do and avoid it. For the most part, I think that it is a question of a combination of things. Primarily, career planning involves analyzing what you're good at and what you do well, and then reaching out to people who are doing that job or career and seeing if you might like to work in that area. That is from Hema from Aryan. Ma'am, is it compulsory to be good in extracurriculars for a foreign job, or is it to be good in academics is okay? So a foreign job is different than foreign education, Aryan. If you are going to do education abroad, you need to do a little of both. Academics is always more important. Academics is always important. What exam is for science to study abroad? This is from Aviral Yadav. Aviral. It's not one exam. It is SATs, AP exams, perhaps in bio, perhaps in physics, perhaps in chemistry. It is SATs. It is, if you are interested in Oxford or Cambridge, there's something called a mathematics aptitude test. If you are interested in, that's interested in Oxford, if you're interested in Cambridge, there is a Cambridge aptitude test. So it's not just one test. It's not just one exam. And please notice that the exams are not more. Tell us about extracurriculars. We've talked about internship help. Anyone who has asked me a question about help, you can email info@Wallick Global Consulting. We will answer all those questions. Ma'am, here's an interesting one. And I'm sorry if I have skipped some people. It doesn't mean I don't think your questions have value. I just don't have time. Ma'am, which university do you recommend to students who want to pursue their career in software engineering? Internationally, I think it's any of the top 20 or 30 would be just fine. There are two resources, Times Higher Education and their Times Higher Education survey. You can Google Times Higher Education rankings, and you can Google US News and World Report specifically related to the US for that. What about students with commerce without math stream? This is from Deepak. I'm not sure what you're asking me. If you're asking me, should you have had math? The answer is yes. I personally believe in 4 years in math. Could you get by without it? Sure, you have accounts. I think students with commerce without math can do a whole host of things. You could prepare for your CA career. You can prepare for your CFA. You can figure out what you like in commerce. You can do entrepreneurship courses. You can still take your SATs, ACTs. Sorry, I didn't mention the ACTs and an alternative. You can do that. MBBS in India or abroad, which is best? We do not have, I can't really answer that question. I would say that an MBBS program is really great if you can get a seat. And you all know that that means, 95, 96, 97, 98 or better, and then cracking the NEET here in India. So it's very important. Ma'am, please tell about extracurriculars if I'm in class 11. Extracurriculars are not determined by the school. Extracurriculars are determined by things that you enjoy doing or that you're willing to spend time doing. Career building activities might be taking on some science experiments or projects or writing articles or writing poetry, doing music, doing sports, doing fitness. I will say, I really want to get this out there. I also want to get this out there to the teachers. This recommendation that students who are preparing for certain national examinations to take physical education because it's going to be easier will not be recommended for those students who want to go abroad. So if you know that there's a student doing PCME, that's physics, chemistry, math, English, and you need one more course for them, it should be eco, it should be computer science, it should be a language, it should be within the confines of the CBSE. If you are 100% sure that that student is going to go abroad, after class 10, so this is where you can advise your parents to make that determination. or if they're even thinking about it, they should be taking 5 academic subjects versus the PE. And that's just the way that that is. Ma'am, what would if one wants to establish an online business after their 12th without any graduation? I would say go for it. I would say go for it. If you're an entrepreneur, be an entrepreneur. I am a person who wants every student in college just because I think it's good for them. I'm also a person that says that not everybody needs college if you have skills. So Abhishek, good luck. You will need some skills in website building. You will need, you should be a commerce student. If you're not a commerce student, you need some skills. This from Garima, ma'am, how should we prepare for engineering in India or abroad? I think you know how to do it in India, and certainly you should listen to your teachers because they have more experience than I do in preparing domestically. Going abroad, a little bit different. You're going to want to do your PCME plus eco plus another academic subject. You know, I dare say there are some really scary students that also take bio, but it's not necessarily warranted. I think students, it's not, I guess what I'm trying to convey is while in India, oftentimes it's best of 4, outside it's best of 5, and those subjects should be academic. What should be our steps for pursuing a career in archaeology and best colleges for it in India? Only best colleges in India. You have to do your own research because I'm not an expert on every single subject, sub-subject, and sub-sub-subject. I would assume that you would know the colleges that will be offering a program in archaeology. Best pursuing a career in archaeology, you should be looking at your national museums. You should be looking up online, Googling professors, India, archaeology. Nobody needs an adult to answer a question. You have a lot at your fingertips. So you should be doing research. I think also there are some amazing archaeology schools all over the world. So I thank you, Sakshi, for that question. From Mahek, what kind of internship helps us to get into an abroad university? It's not a specific internship. It is doing an internship relevant to your subject area. How does scholarship differ in India and US? Mr. Simons, it is slightly different in that applying for a scholarship in India, there are numerous individual scholarships given out by universities. Same thing happens in the US. The difference is Indians scholarships can also be considered financial aid. That is, if a person is from a disadvantaged background, you can get both merit and financial aid. In the US, international students are only eligible for merit money. Many students are not eligible for federal financial aid, so you have to do really well, those 90 plusers, and the university will use merit money to recruit you. From Anushka, ma'am, which universities do you recommend if one wants to pursue his or her career in history or political science? Recommendations, Anushka, you can email me because I'm inevitably gonna lose and name drop some universities. Boston University is really great for that. That's where I went. Also Georgetown, but any university, any great domestic university is going to be wonderful. In the last thing, somebody said that they won. Is it tough, Abigail, Paul? Is it tough to get into MIT or any Ivy League colleges? Yes, it is. It's extremely tough. It is extremely competitive. Some of the most competitive in the world. Which university is best for computers? Same thing. Anything in the top 50, top 100 in the world. Ma'am, we have to be good in extracurriculars for a job. Also, not really. Asta said, ma'am, how should I prepare for a CLAT? You need to study hard, Asta. You need to study now. Get a CLAT book. Read it, study it, learn it, live it. Thank you for Harshdeep. Vanshika, I knew it was bachelor's in computer applications. See how good I am? It's the same preparation. You have to study hard. And Nam, I think we're going to wrap it up there. They have so many questions. If you would collect them for me, I don't know how to do that here. It may not be possible. You can certainly have them email us or have their, parents email us. I did want to show them one last thing. And that's just, if I may.
Yes, Ms. Wallick, I guess you can show that slide again where everything is mentioned, your email and everything, right?
Can you allow me, because you've taken hosting back, can you allow me to share just for a minute?
Okay.
Okay. Got it. Thank you, ma'am. Got it. All right. And I'm going to share. Do you see this now? This is our website, wallickglobalconsulting.com. You're greeted by a bot that asks you your name. There's only 9 questions. So if you have any interest, just answer the questions, come on the website. Either myself or somebody from the office will get back to you. That's all I wanted you to see. And again, thank you for the opportunity. Back to you, Anam, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. And I've read a lot of articles about you, and I'm sure now I can say why they have written that you are the only graduate admissions expert, how amazingly you answered all the questions of our students. So please accept our sincere appreciation and gratitude for the outstanding presentation, Ms. Wallick.
Thank you very much.
It was really informative for our students, and hopefully it will be great, right, in the decision making regarding the preparation for UG and PD study outside India. So before I give the thank you note, I would like to request Mr. Harshit Singh, sir, to please say a few words.
Once again, I'm here, and thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Heather. Since I'm pretty sure that all of us got a very nice insight as to how should we be preparing in case we are planning to study abroad. And I'm pretty sure that many of our students would be contacting you, and they'll get all the help that they need. And since this was the first episode of the LPS Career Talk series, and I'd like to tell all the students of Lucknow Public Schools and Colleges that very soon we'll be coming up with a few more very nice people, and who will give you a very nice insight. And I would request Heather ma'am to please give her precious time in future as well whenever our students would require any help. So that would be an added advantage for the entire institute. And yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. So there's just one thing that I'd like to say in the end is that there's something that what has really started mattering me a lot, and I've started working on that, and that is the time that we have, right? You see, all the students who are here, and I'm sure that you can share the same information with your parents, your friends. That is, how can you value your time? I mean, you must value your time. You see, time is the biggest equalizer for each and everyone, for all the human beings. You see, like everyone has 24 hours, and 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of study, and then the rest 8 hours is what makes the difference. What are you doing the next 8 hours is going to make the real difference in your life. All right, the first 8 hours are the same for everyone. The third 8 hours, you see, they're going to make all the difference in your life. And time is the biggest equalizer for each and every human being, which all of us should understand and remember. You see, there are people who are hardly able to feed themselves in 24 hours, and then there are people who are actually running countries in 24 hours. So you can imagine the difference. There has to be a mindset, and you need to work on that. I know you people are young, but yes, this is something that you can teach yourself from I mean, I if I had this information before, I would have worked. I mean, I sometimes feel that if I had known a few things, I would have worked a lot more, back in time there. But still, whatever time you have, just, that's the most precious thing. Start working on it. So, thank you so much, Heather ma'am, and all the students, teachers who have been here, and Miss Anam, who was there to host this entire event, although we had a few glitches. And yeah, that'll be it. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon in the next LPS Career Talk series. And that's all. Thank you so much, everyone. I'll now end the meet. Heather ma'am, would you like to say something?
No, thank you very much, sir. Have
Okay.
a great afternoon, everyone.
Okay, I'll end the meet. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.